Check out. Check it out. Okay, it's Thursday night, and just want to do a review. I didn't want to go to Specs tomorrow, so I got this for myself, but I bought this for my friend. You know, this is $21 at Specs. This is like $40 anywhere else. So before I start reviewing what I'm going to review, I just want to show a CD I got today. I got Waj, Grindcore Penitentiary, 24 tracks. I listened to it. I asked the guy who put it out, Andy, who does Mortville Records, if I could play it, but he hasn't responded yet, so maybe I'll play it next time. I just wanted to get his permission. I ordered two of them because I'm going to send one to my good buddy Stan Bowman, who does Reality Impaired Records. He doesn't watch my videos, so he doesn't know. He's not going to know about this, but it should be a nice surprise. It's pretty awesome. It's just grindcore, just guitars and a drum machine and a bunch of different people contributing vocals. I listened to some of it. It has the lyrics, some cool artwork. I remember Waj from maybe even early 2000s, maybe late 90s, and they're like Agoraphobic Nosebleed, just maybe a little, in a little way, a little heavier, kind of. In fact, I always thought it was like Scott Hall from Pig Destroyer, Agoraphobic Nosebleed, but I don't know who it is, but it's really good. And it was only $5. Two out of two was $10, and then $5 shipping. So, I don't know. Look for Mortville Noise anywhere. He's on Instagram. So I'm gonna start my review. I'm gonna take a shot. So I wanted to just keep reviewing action movies, but I was looking at my stuff and I don't know what to do. Like Commando, Rambo. I mean, there's no sense in like reviewing those. The Double Target, I'm gonna watch it Saturday morning. So I threw on some TZ glitter for you. So I was looking on Tubi and on Amazon Prime, and then I remembered there's this podcast called The VHS Strikes Back. It's like two British blokes, and they reviewed a movie called Shootfighter, and they really liked it. And they like, well, I don't know. Anyway, they really liked it. They said it was just good, like 90s action, kung fu. And their review really got to me. I was like, man, I should check it out. So it's on YouTube, and I watched it, and dude, it was great. I was really surprised. Like nowadays, I try to watch, not all the time, but if it's a new movie, I really want to pay attention. So I watch maybe like, if it's like an hour and a half, I'll watch the first 30 minutes. Stop and try to take it in 30-minute increments. And if it's really good, I'll keep watching it. But movies aren't always, pull you in like Evil Dead or Bad Tastes or They Live or something like that. They get kind of boring. So I watched the first 30 minutes and see, I wrote down. I took some notes. So it starts out with Martin Kove is fighting in this shoot fight. And Martin Kove, he looks cool. He looks cool in this. He's a little older than like Rambo 2 and Karate Kid. He looks a little meaner. And he kills. He's shoot fighting, and he rips this dude's throat out in front of. And this guy was friends with Bolo Young. Bolo Young is the good guy in this. And I mean, Bolo's great, but he's just a bad guy. But they made him, but they made him a good guy in a few movies. I guess he's fine as a good guy, better as a bad guy. But Martin Kove is the bad guy in this. So he does that. He rips this dude's throat out in front of Bolo, and Bolo is just like, Bolo's such a bad actor. So it goes a few years later to William Zabka, Johnny from Karate Kid and Cobra. I don't watch Cobra Kai. And Billy, he's a kung fu instructor for little kids. And this is 93. This is like 10 years after Karate Kid. And I always wonder, how come Zabka wasn't a bigger star? Is he a jerk? Or is there what is it about him? I mean, he's in pretty good shape. He could be ripped more. He has a decent spin kick, I thought. But he was pretty good in this. And then his girlfriend is Miriam Diabo. It's a weird pairing. Her sister Olivia, I think her name is. She's a lot hotter than Miriam, but Miriam's cute. So his friend shows up, Miriam's brother, can't remember his name, and they start hanging out. They go to a bar. They get into a fight with some guys that Billy. His name's Ruben. He had borrowed money to keep the school open, so these guys are always like hounding him. And then Martin Kove has been keeping tabs on Bolo Young, whose name is Shingo in this, because he wants to fight. But I didn't see the part, because he says Shingo beat him, but I don't think they actually showed that. And, like, he busted his hand up. He wears one of those glove braces things. He's really upset about that. So he wants to fight Shingo again, but he wants to go through nefarious means and, like, corrupt his students. So he sends this guy. I didn't write his name down, too, but he looks and sounds like a young Roger Corman. The way he talks, this guy was pretty good. I didn't write his name down, though. So he tells them, if they go to Mexico, they can fight in this shoot fighting tournament. They'll get paid like $1,000 a night if they win or lose, and they can, if they win, they'll further in the ranks and they can get to the finals and they'll get more money, but guaranteed, $1,000 for like 2 or 3 fights or something. And Ruben needs the money, and his friends like, yeah, let's do it. So they go and they try it, and Billy Ruben, his friend, like, he knows, there's something wrong with this. But Ruben's like, he just gets hypnotized by the money, and he's like, we can make so much money to do these fights. And his friends are, no, there's something that's not right about this. It's too good of a deal. So now I kind of forget what happened, but they want to go back. They stay for a few fights and then they go back. They want to Billy, just call him Zabka. Zabka wants Shingo to train him, because they tell him that as the fights progress, they get harder. They use weapons. They say I say nunchucks, but they say the nunchaku, I know what the tonfa sticks are, and I forget the bow staff. And his friend's like, I'm out. This is just too hardcore for me. And Zapka's into it. It's like his bully persona is coming out. And so he stays and he starts training in Mexico. And his friend goes back. He's like, it's just do the karate tournaments. And Zapka's like, no more points, dude. This is real fighting. So his friend starts training with Shingo. He's training in Mexico, and he's like walking the streets of Tijuana, like just starting fights with Mexican gang members and kicking their ass. That was cool. But this is where the movie started to lull for me. And then there's a weird part where Shingo and this other guy, he's a ponytail, kind of like Discount Brandon Lee, kind of. He's a pretty good martial artist. They're jogging and they go to the basketball court and there's this little kid and Shingo like asks for his ball and he throws it, behind his back and makes it. And then it was weird. The little kid makes it. Discount Brandon Lee can't do it. What was the point of this scene? I guess just filler. So I was like, okay, at this point I was like, this is kind of, it's not too great anymore. But then we get to the final tournaments, and it was the last 30 minutes, and this movie goes into overdrive. It just fight after fight, and it was all like, like in wrestling, like mid-card dudes, like nobodies, but they had some good fights. And then they start throwing in weapons, or even before they throw in weapons, there's a big black dude, and I was like, this is Keith Lee's father from AEW, and he fights this guy, dude. The guy he fights, like he has a boa or a python. He's like licking it, and he's like fighting like a snake. He's almost like Jim Carrey level, like Ace Ventura, like silliness in his movements and his facial features. And I was like, wow, this is going into almost like Lady Terminator, Galaxy Invader, Manos Hands of Fate territory for a second. And then the giant black dude punches into his chest and rips his heart out. And I was like, holy shit, he ripped his fucking heart out. And I was like, yeah, that was great. And it was bloody too. Like, it wasn't beating, but he just punched into his chest and ripped his heart out. So after that, it's just more fights. And I don't know who these guys were, but there were some good fights. Some throat slashings. There's a dude, he bites a guy's arm and rips the chunk of flesh out of his arm. What else? I didn't think it was gonna get like not total gore, but gore and blood and killing. And I was like, man, this is getting good. And so Zabka has to fight, and his fight is with swords. Like at first, everything's hand to hand. They're telling him, nunchaku, bow staff, tonfa sticks, but then they just skip that and they give him the sword, and he fights like, he's fighting like a buff Q Lazarus, and it was good. Like Zabka, he really got through. Like he doesn't want to kill anybody, but he's put in this position. So, and I felt it. Like it wasn't like, oh, he's gonna kill this dude. I was like, man, is he gonna kill this guy? And his friend, Discount Brandon Lee, is trying to stop him. And I was like, he's gonna get there before he kills him, and he's gonna stop him, or is Zabka gonna stop himself, or is he gonna kill him? So yeah, it was pretty good. And then I didn't think Bolo was gonna have a bigger part, but he comes and he stops everything. And Martin Cove, Martin Cove is in the background jerking off or something. But Martin Cove wants to fight Bolo Young. And I was like, John Kreese is gonna fight. What's his name from Bloodsport? I can't remember his name, but Martin Cove is gonna fight Bolo Young. Bolo Young was in The Boxer's Omen. The Boxer's Omen is insane. Like, if you haven't seen The Boxer's Omen, you have to see The Boxer's Omen. But I'll leave it at that, because it's really good. Martin Cove is not a martial artist. He can barely, even when he was in like decent shape, looks like he could barely move. But it was still good. And then it just ends, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. So, and I was thinking about this earlier, what to rate this as. It's almost a 4, like a 3, and like a 3.8. Because there's a part where Bolo, he has these sticks and stuff. Oh, I was gonna do, he's like, see if I can do something. No. He has these sticks and he's like, and he's like building up the tension, and then he stops, and everyone's clapping like, and he stops, and I was like, holy shit, like he built some tension with this. And he starts kicking Martin Cove's ass, and then the score for the music starts doing that. I was like, wow, they built it up, and then they topped it off. I was like, that was really good. So Shootfighter, Fight to the Death, I think it's called. VHS is going for like 15 to 30, which is just a ripoff. I don't know if it's on DVD, but it's on YouTube. So if you want to see Johnny from Cobra Kai and a good martial arts movie, they even bring back the body bag line at some point. Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if it's on DVD. It's on YouTube. I guess I could watch it again, but it's a good movie worth repeated viewings. And if you like 90s, early 90s, early, mid, late kung fu movies, but also while I was watching, I was like, Iko Uwais would destroy these dudes in like 5 seconds. They're good. All of them are good fighters, but yeah, raid guys, the Night Comes For Us guys would just demolish these dudes. I always, whenever I watch an action movie, it's always in the back of my head. The Raid and The Night Comes For Us. I feel bad because Tony Jaa, I remember when I first saw him, I was like, dude, this dude's amazing. And he's just kind of gotten left in the wayside because now Iko is around. So if you've seen Shootfighter, or if you check it out, here's some watch for you. I'll put the info for Mortville Noise. Get in touch, write me a letter, and I'll see you later.